Kurinji Senior Secondary School, CBSE, Namakkal.
Successful result producing school in state every year.
Administered by the Board of Directors with over 35 years of experience in the teaching field.
Special attention on art, craft, music, dance, silambam, yoga, skating and karate.
Focus on Hindi Sabha and Spell Bee Olympiad exams.
Smart class for effective and innovative learning and well-furnished library.
Solitary importance on sports and games in state and national level.
WhatsApp facilities to know activities of students and school inside the campus.
NEET, JEE, IIT coaching experts from Rajasthan and Andhra Pradesh along with our effective teachers.
Admission registration for classes LKG to +2.
Kurinji Educational Institution, Kavetipatti, Namakkal. Admission in progress. CBSE, KG to 12, contact 9025895176. Metric 6 to 12, contact 9344567484. For online admission, log on to www.kurinjischoolnkl.in.
In this class, we start with example 6.10. See here, first obtain the expression. First see here example 6.10. After that, we will go for 6.11. See here, example 6.10. Obtain the expression for the magnetic energy stored in a solenoid in terms of magnetic field B, area capital A and length small l of the solenoid. And B, how does this magnetic energy compare with the electrostatic energy stored in a capacitor? Stored in a capacitor. So in this example problem 6.10, there are two questions, A and B. First you try to understand the question. First A, obtain the expression for the magnetic energy stored in a solenoid in terms of magnetic field B, area capital A and length small l of the solenoid. Second one, that is what B, how does this magnetic energy compare with the electrostatic energy stored in a capacitor? Okay, right. See here, first we will discuss A and then we will go for B. See this. What I am saying is, we know that the magnetic energy is UB is equal to 1 by 2 L I square. Now, UB is equal to 1 by 2 into L. In place of I, you can write B by mu naught N from this formula. So, it is the formula for solenoid. So, in place of I, when we are writing B by mu naught N whole square, then the next step will be like this mathematically, right? And afterwards, after completion of that, the expression will be like this, that is 1 by 2 mu naught, 1 by 2 mu naught into B square AL, B square AL, okay. And this is what in place of small l here we have written mu naught N square capital A into small l, okay. This is what L is the self-inductance, this is what capital L, that is in terms of mu naught N square capital A into L, that we are getting this expression from theory, right? So when we were in a discussion about the theory, there we got it capital L is equal to mu naught small n square into capital A into small l, right? So finally after completion of this, we are writing 1 by 2 mu naught B square into capital A into small l. This is the expression. This is the expression for the magnetic energy stored in a solenoid in terms of magnetic field, area capital A and length small l. Next B, how does this magnetic energy compare with the electrostatic energy stored in a capacitor? See this, the magnetic energy per unit volume is UB is equal, it is like small u, it is what capital U. So UB is equal to capital UB divided by V, it is the volume. Next step, in place of volume we are writing area into length. Afterwards it will be B square by 2 mu naught, because already here we got UB is equal to, right, capital UB, that is magnetic energy, is equal to 1 by 2 mu naught into B square into capital A into small l. So we are writing this value here. Then finally we are getting B square by 2 mu naught, because AL will get cancelled, no? Then the final expression, the final answer is B square by 2 mu naught. This is the magnetic energy per unit volume. It is like equation number 1 for our convenience. Next, we have already obtained the relation for the electrostatic energy per unit volume. we have already obtained the relation for the electrostatic energy stored per unit volume, right? In the chapter electrostatic potential and capacitance, we got this expression, that is UE is equal to 1 by 2 epsilon naught E square. So for our convenience, we are taking this one as equation 2, and this is one more important point also you have to keep in mind. This is for parallel plate capacitor, electrostatic energy stored per unit volume in a parallel plate capacitor. UE is equal to, because E indicates that electrostatic, UE is equal to 1 by 2 epsilon naught E square. It is like equation 2. Okay, it is like equation 2. Right now, in both the cases, energy is proportional to the square of the field strength. Here also square of the field strength, that is what magnetic field. Here also square of the field strength, that is what electric field or electrostatic field. See here. So in both the cases, energy is proportional to the square of the field strength. Equations 1 and 2 have been derived for special cases. So a solenoid and a parallel plate capacitor respectively. Okay, now, but they are general and valid for any region of space in which a magnetic field or an electric field exists. Okay, so it is like for solenoid and it is like for capacitor. So we got two equations, equations 1 and 2. So these two have been derived for special cases, right? One is solenoid, another one is parallel plate capacitor respectively. But they are general and valid for any region of space in which a magnetic field or an electric field exists. Okay, this is what the example 6.10. So in the example 6.10, we obtain the expression for magnetic energy stored in a solenoid in terms of magnetic field B, area capital A, and length small l of the solenoid, that is this one. See here. Next, in B, we got, we compared the magnetic energy with the electrostatic energy stored in a capacitor. That is, the conclusion is in both the cases energy is proportional to the square of the field strength. That is the conclusion we got from comparison. Afterwards, we are concluding that we derived two equations, one is for solenoid and another one is for parallel plate capacitor. Afterwards, we are saying they are general and valid for any region of space in which a magnetic field and an electric field exists. Next question, see here, next problem, example 6.11, see here. This is what one student, okay, for example Kamala. So here Kamala pedals a stationary bicycle, full stop. The pedals of the bicycle are attached to a 100-turn coil of area 0.10 meter square. Okay, so if you see that these are the number of turns and it is the area of the coil. The coil rotates at half a revolution per second. It is what? The frequency 0.5 Hz, and it is placed in a uniform magnetic field of 0.01 Tesla perpendicular to the axis of rotation of the coil. Full stop. What is the maximum voltage? What is the maximum voltage generated in the coil? Right. So after completion of the problem, the conclusion is we have to calculate the maximum voltage generated in the coil. The maximum voltage generated in the coil. Right. But what they have given? They have given that the number of turns 100, because here Kamala pedals a stationary bicycle. The pedals of the bicycle are attached to a 100-turn coil of area. So it is the area of the coil. These are the number of turns. Now they have given frequency. Coil rotates at a half a revolution per second, means 0.5 Hz is the frequency, and it is placed in a uniform magnetic field of 0.01 Tesla. 0.01 Tesla perpendicular to the axis of rotation of the coil. What is the maximum voltage generated in the coil? Okay, right. So first we have to write the given values. In any physics problem, before going to solve, first we have to write the data. So first we have to write the given problem, given values, quantities, frequency, number of turns, area of the coil, magnetic field. Now we are using this formula. By using this formula, right, how this formula we got, we discussed in the theory. By using this formula, and we are substituting everything. then finally we are getting 0.314 volt. This is the maximum voltage. This is the maximum voltage generated in the coil, that is 0.314 volt. So here we urge you to explore such alternative possibilities for power generation. So based on this concept, based on this formula, he is saying that, based on this problem, he is saying that we may have or we may take the steps, or we may think about the possibilities for power generation. Okay, right. So in this example 6.7, we calculated the maximum voltage generated in the coil, which is connected to the pedals of the bicycle, and with these many number of turns, and this is the area, and frequency is 0.5 Hz, the magnetic field is 0.01 Tesla. Okay, right. Next one. So now with this problem example 6.11, we completed all the example problems from electromagnetic induction. Now we are going to start to discuss exercise problem. Okay, so it is the first exercise problem. See here. So in this first exercise problem, he is saying that predict the direction of induced current. Predict the direction of induced current. Okay, predict the direction of induced current in the situation described by the following figures from figure A to F. Okay, which is what A and B, C, D, E, F. Okay, so there are 6 figures. What he is asking is predict the direction of induced current in the situation described by the following figures from figure A to figure F, right? So in all these figures we have to say the direction of induced current. Okay, so we have to give direction of induced current in all these figures. Okay, right. See all the pictures. Okay, see all the figures what they have given. First you observe figure A. So after completion of that we will go for B, and then one by one we will discuss. Okay, right. First see the picture or figure A and try to observe that what is there, right? It is like a coil having some number of turns, okay, which is connected to that some R value, right? And it is ends P and Q, and it is a magnet, right? S and N. This you can imagine, right? So when the magnet is moving, what happens, and what is the direction of the induced current, that he is asking. See this, as the S pole of the magnet approaches the coil, as the S pole of the magnet approaches the coil, by Lenz law, the induced current in the coil develops. The induced current, as the S pole of the magnet approaches the coil, by Lenz law, the induced current in the coil develops S pole at the end Q, right? Develops S pole at the end Q. For this, the induced current should flow clockwise when seen from the magnet side. So you have to stand here. So by standing here, if you see that the direction of induced current is clockwise, hence the induced current flows along QRPQ, right? This is the direction of the induced current from this picture. Next, B. See this picture, right? Observe carefully. See this picture. So in this picture, it is a coil, it is also another coil, it is PQ coil, it is XY coil, and it is a magnet SN, it is moving like this. See this arrow, right? Observe carefully. As the magnet is moved, its S pole moves towards PQ coil, right? Its S pole moves towards PQ coil, and its N pole moves away from XY coil. By Lenz law, the induced current should develop S pole at the end Q, and also S pole at the end X. Here also S pole, right? S pole at the end Q and also S pole at the end X. For this, the current in the two coils should flow clockwise when seen from the magnet side, right? So because of this, to get S pole here and to get S pole here, the current in the two coils should flow clockwise when seen from the magnet side, when seen from the magnet side, full stop. Hence the induced current flows along PRQ in one coil, along YZX in other coil. So in this coil PRQ ma, in this coil YZX. So this is the direction of induced current. So here PRQ, here YZX. Okay. So YZX, this is the direction. Here PRQ, this is the direction, right? So that is about picture 2. Now figure 3, okay, or C, A, B or C. Now according to the picture C, what is the direction of induced current? What is the direction of induced current? See here, so third picture. So third figure, what is the direction of induced current? See here, this is what third or C. Okay. So in this picture, you see here, as the circuit of the left loop is completed. So what is the left loop? This is the left loop, right? See this. This is the left and this is the right. As the left loop, as the circuit of the left loop is completed, current flows in the direction of arrows shown. So these are the directions of arrows. Okay. So if you observe carefully, this is the direction of current flows in the direction of arrows shown. This current develops south polarity on the side of right loop. Full stop. The induced current should flow clockwise when seen from left. So from here, if you observe carefully, the current should appear, the induced current should flow clockwise, okay, in the right loop, so as to oppose the growth of current in the left loop, right? So the induced current should flow clockwise in the right loop so as to oppose the growth of current in the left loop, full stop. Hence the induced current flows along YZX. Induced current should flow along YZX. Okay. So what is Y and what is Z and what is X? See here. See this. YZX. Okay. This is the direction of induced current. Now see that figure 4. This is the figure 4. So here, as the rheostat is adjusted, the resistance decreases and current will be increased. Okay. This increases the flux through the neighboring coil. This increases the flux through the neighboring coil, right? By Lenz rule, increase of flux should be opposed. By Lenz rule, increase of flux should be opposed, full stop. The induced current should produce flux in the opposite direction of original flux, okay, full stop. Hence the induced current flows along ZYX like this, along ZYX, okay, right. Next, see the picture 5. This is the picture 5 or E. See here, as the circuit breaks, the flux decreases, full stop. The induced current should flow along X or Y to supplement the flux. So the induced current should flow along X or Y, right? Along X or Y to supplement, okay, to supplement the flux. Okay. See here ma, this is what is X and what is Y and what is R. See here, as the circuit breaks, the flux decreases here. So when the flux decreases, the induced current should flow along X or Y. Is R ma, is Y, X or Y, okay, to supplement the flux. Okay. Next picture, last picture. See here, in this picture, the circular field lines set up around the current carrying wire lie in the plane of the loop, full stop. The flux threading the coil in the perpendicular direction, is zero. So any change in the current change in the current will not change this flux. Any change in the current will not change in the flux, hence no induced current is set up in the coil. Okay. So according to the question, he is asking predict the direction of induced current in the situation described by the following figures from A to F, right? A, B, C, D, E, F, right? So here one by one we discussed. So it is what happens in the picture A, and this is what happened in the picture B. This is what happened in the picture C, and then D, right? Afterwards E and F. Okay. So in this class we discussed example problem 6.10 and 6.11. Okay. Afterwards we started exercise problems. Okay. So we discussed exercise problem 1. In the next class we will continue with exercise problem 2. Thank you.